good, YouTube? It's boy Joe back again with another reaction video. I'll be reacting to I became a straight A student without studying. My story animated. Get into the video.
Hello everyone, thanks for clicking on this video. My name is Vanessa and I'm 25 years old living in Florida. I'm going to tell you a story that I think everyone should know in hopes that you'll learn something from my mistake. It started when I was 18 in high school. But before I jump into the story, make sure to subscribe and leave a like to help support the channel. Thank you and I hope you enjoy. Growing up to a daughter of two supermodels, I inherited their best genes according to everyone. I have beautiful, long, and silky blonde hair. My eyes are bright and beautiful. My skin is flawlessly smooth and buttery. As a child, my parents entered me into beauty pageants, and I won them all. I was the perfect daughter in the eyes of everyone. I was the real-life version of a princess with my looks from both parents. But what I didn't inherit? Their kind and hard-working nature, and smartness. When they shoved me into a prestigious private and elite high school, I was stumped. Up until then, I was homeschooled until my parents decided I needed to experience what the real world is like. That meant interacting with people and making friends. Yet, I felt very secluded because compared to everyone, I wasn't smart in any of my school subjects. Not only that, but everyone seemed to keep their distance from me because I'm so pretty.
Our wickedness that you know. But I saw I go. Wickedness that. That's how I go. So I go, yo. So I go.
Everyone felt like I was unapproachable and wouldn't want to be their friends because they were normal people compared to me. Because
Everybody just bad man, yeah, man. That's just how I go.
of that, I never got to make any friends all 4 years, and my grades suffered tremendously since I had no one to help me. So I did the unthinkable to pass so I can get into my dream school. And this is my confession. I'm sleeping with 4 people in order to raise my grade, and they are all in on it. It all started with sleeping around with the smartest guy in school to help me cheat on all my tests. He was 2 years younger than us, but skipped 2 grades because of how smart he is. Besides from being a nerd, he didn't have any friends. And when I approached him, he said he wanted a kiss to be tortured. When I asked what I had to do so he would do my homework and help me cheat on my test, he said to do it with him. And I did for a few months before I got bored of him, yet it gave me an idea. Then it moved on to my math teacher. I was failing math pretty badly, and my dream school required you to be really good at math and science grade in order to get in. I was asking my math teacher if there's any kind of extra credit for me to do when he placed his hands on my thighs. He leaned in to say, "I'll give you some extra credit right now, privately. Lift up your skirt and bend over for me, Mandy. You have to earn it another way like a good girl, and you'll see an A on all your homework and tests." Soon my science teacher found me and him naked together in the classroom. He said he won't tell anyone if I also slept with him. I ended up sleeping with both of them at the same time. Turns out that they both found me the prettiest girl in school, and they had been attracted to me
Funny. This is hilarious.
since freshman year. I would often make love with one or both in the classroom since they were both married. I didn't care, since my grade was on the line anyways. And of course, there's my principal. He found out one day when he was checking into the school's file and saw my grades randomly going from failing to miracle A's from my math and science teacher. I fessed up after he threatened to call my parents and then expel me. When I told him, he called me a bad girl and taught me a lesson with me over his desk. In the course of 3 months, I was sleeping with 4 people at the same time. I was usually late in all my other classes because I was busy with my teachers or principal in different empty classrooms. Honestly, it was one of the best things to happen to me was what I was thinking at the time. I was going on the easy way out of things. I no longer needed to do homework or even study because of the things I was doing. While everyone else was stressing and
Wow.
struggling, all I had to do was smile and flip my skirt up to my teachers and principal. I was on a high. Imagine an 18-year-old thinking how easy life is and you don't have to face any consequences because you're pretty. That was what my mind was thinking the whole time. That was until someone tipped off the police about what was happening. I wasn't even sure how it all happened that fateful day. I was making love with both my math and science teacher while my principal was watching when a bunch of police officers came crashing through the empty classroom and caught us right there. I almost had a heart attack. I was naked with a bunch of police officers pointing their guns at us and demanding we put our hands in the air. Shortly after, there was a full investigation. Someone anonymously took pictures and gave them to the police in a few weeks. To this day, I still don't know who it was. Shortly
That person is a snitch.
after my story of sleeping with 2 teachers and the principal made it onto national news. Suddenly, hundreds of reporters were swarming my house to hear more about me. I felt like no matter what channel you turned to, my face was plastered everywhere. And when they found out how pretty I was, they painted me as the naive and gullible girl that had their innocence stolen by three disgusting crooks. So many people apologized on their behalf and gave me pity eyes wherever I went. I wasn't sure why, because in my eyes, I was to blame as well. We were all adults that knew the consequences, so why wasn't I punished too? Was it because of my looks? My parents sent me to see a therapist to cope with the pain of what they did to me. In their eyes, I was a victim that gave away something that was very important, my virginity. But in all honesty, I didn't really care. Not even that, the news painted me as a scared and frightened girl that was seduced when I knew it was the other way around. They didn't prey on me. I knew what I was doing when I slept with them. And truthfully, I didn't even care. My
Wow. Yeah, she never cared because she agreed, literally. She wanted to agree it up, She did that feel every class. So I guess she's like, it's whatever it takes, bruh.
looks seemed more like a blessing than a curse, until that fateful day when I went back to school right before the final. Someone said, "You may have a face of an angel, but you're actually a cunning snake." I later found out that was the daughter of the math teacher I didn't even know. He was married and happy until I seduced him. Not only will this be on his permanent record, but his wife also filed for divorce. I ruined a perfectly happy family because of my grades. For some reason, that really stung. I never felt worse about my beauty as a person. Shortly after, I graduated, and many online communities from different social media gave me support and money to help me cope with what those terrible groups of men did to me.
Wow.
I even got into my dream college on a full scholarship. I thought it was going to be the best day of my life, yet I never felt more alone. People questioned if I actually even deserved it. I started to have doubts myself. None of my classmates wanted to talk to me based on what I did. The only people that did were guys, and they offered me money and things to do the things I did with my teachers. Suddenly, I was ashamed of myself. In fact, my prettiest had been my worst nightmare since. Every single person I talked to, I have my walls up as to what they really wanted. Like all they wanted was to sleep with me rather than befriend me. Being the
Wow.
prettiest, most attractive, and beautiful girl has its consequences. It was a curse. I didn't even want to go out anymore. I used to also love posting on my social media account for my 500,000 followers, but I ended up deleting my account altogether. I didn't want people messaging me and asking for favors. I used to be proud of sleeping with my teachers and principal for my grade, and now I felt gutted. After a few weeks, I ended up breaking down and having an identity crisis. Everything was eating me up inside. If I wasn't pretty, if I didn't have my exterior looks, would I be normal? Would I have friends? Did I deserve to go to my dream college at all? Would anyone even want to be my friend, or is it just my look and reputation? I couldn't take it anymore, and I decided I needed to tell someone that wasn't my therapist. I didn't like him. He always seemed to belittle me. So I told my parents the truth, that I was the person that seduced them for the better grades, and not the other way around. I thought they would be understanding, and it felt like a weight had been lifted off my chest at my confession. But it did the exact opposite. My mom started bawling her eyes out. My dad couldn't even look me in the eyes for what I did. Truthfully, I think that they both knew for a while, but me confessing it only solidified the truth in their heads, that I was messed up in the head. I wasn't hardworking at all. I didn't have a moral compass even though I was raised in a loving environment. Shortly after I confessed, my parents moved me into a small apartment next to the campus, and nothing had been the same since. They stopped talking to me besides my birthday. I haven't been able to even attend college as a full time. I chose online classes since I couldn't look at people without freaking out. I actually went to visit the three men who I slept with in order to get closure, but they refused to even want to speak with me. Now that I'm 25 and looking back, I honestly would say I do regret my action. It shaped how I view my own worth, and it got me to my dream school. But at what cost? I paid for my consequences, as with those who chose to do it with me too. Both my math and science teacher, along with the principal, are still in prison. My parents are still very wary of me. I don't think we'll ever be close again because of what I did. I still have self-esteem issues, even though everyone considers me to be the prettiest. I keep thinking everyone has ulterior motives whenever they talk to me, since everyone in high school, like students or teachers, only wanted to talk to me to sleep with me. Not to mention, my whole town still glares at me with disgust for what I did. I just
Nah,
finished
bruh.
college, and I'm planning to change my name soon and move to another state. It's the only way for me to have a brand new beginning and reinvent myself. I'm sharing my story in order to let anyone watching to never take the easy way out of things, especially with your looks.